Hey there, StarCraft 2 fans. Welcome back to another broadcast. This is Game 2 of the first round of the Kraft Gaming Cup. This was a tournament that was held locally in my area, as I mentioned in the last video, so I'm very interested to see the outcome of this tournament. There were only about 4 players involved. This was held by Karma Gaming, which will be down in the little cover over my game timer there. You will see the website for their particular clan. You will also find that down in the description bar of this video. So down here in the lower right hand corner on Jungle Basin, we have the blue Terran player, Mouse. Up here in the upper left hand corner, we do have the purple Zerg player, Moonmonk. So we do have Zerg versus Terran, a very interesting matchup. A lot of Zerg players will often find that that can be a very imbalanced matchup, simply because of siege tanks. They do often present a big problem for Zerg players. Personally, being a Terran player myself, I don't use siege tanks that frequently, which is a fault of my own that I have, so hopefully I can learn to overcome that eventually. We do have the supply depot going down actually at the top of the ramp this time for the Terran player. Last time we did see that go down at the bottom of the ramp, and then he placed his barracks down there as well, so most likely this time it's simply because the natural is actually in the back of the base as opposed to the natural being outside. He was probably looking to make it a little bit more defensible in terms of protecting that natural expansion. We do have the drone coming over here to take a couple bites out of that SCV. However, he does pull 2 SCVs off. That's a little bit unusual, just to scare away that initial scouting drone that's doing that a little bit of harassment. We do see a very early expansion from the Zerg player. If we take a look at the production tab, we'll notice that's all he's producing at the moment. So that went down at about 13 supply. We do not see a spawning pool on the way just yet. The good thing about this map, for Zerg players especially, is that the back expansion is very easy to defend. However, the same thing is true for Terran players. Potentially the most imbalanced thing about this map is that the high ground here in the front is very easy for Terran players to defend that third expansion, or that second expansion that comes up, simply because they can drop a planetary fortress right here, a couple of siege tanks in this area, and this whole stretch of land that's on the high ground is pretty much covered. There's really not much Zerg players going to be able to do about that, aside from throwing their entire army at the planetary fortress in an attempt to take it out. We do see a factory going down for the Terran player now, so probably looking to do a 1-1-1 build, or Destiny Cloudfist build as it's sometimes called. We do have the orbital command now complete, and we do have a mule coming down as well. Not producing any more Marines out of that barracks, actually throwing up another supply depot at the front here. So this is a very uncommon wall, and that we don't see very much anymore, is the 3 supply depot wall, and typically most players now are going to do a barracks and a supply depot, or a barracks and a factory or something of that nature, just to make it a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more stable. We do have some drones transitioning over here to start mining on this natural expansion for the Zerg player. The spawning pool is now complete. However, we do not have Zergling speed on the way. Not quite enough gas to do that just yet. Now sitting at 52. Does have his queen nearly complete, with an overlord scouting around the map here. We do have a couple of Zerglings that are pushing out. Probably just going to look to put a little bit of pressure on the Terran player. However, with these 2 Marines that he has at his front door, not going to be able to do a whole lot. Probably just going to scout out here, see if there's any free kills that they can get. And we do indeed see the 3 supply depot walls, so a little bit unusual play from the Terran player, not something that we're going to see very often. We do have an overlord down here for the Zerg player in a very good location. Probably not going to get spotted by the Terran player unless he scouts around back here just to check to see if it's there, but once that expansion goes down for the Terran player, Zerg player is going to know. You will see he's going to push in here, just take a little peek, know that there's no expansion going down just yet, and probably going to turn that around just so it stays nice and safe, and indeed that's what he does. We do have Zergling speed now on the way for the Zerg player, so we will see a push out with some speedlings here pretty quickly. However, we do have a Banshee on the way for the Terran player, and that could spell big trouble for the Zerg player if he's not prepared for it. We do not have a layer on the way yet. With this cloaking that's coming for this Banshee, he could be able to do quite a lot of damage. We do have double gas up for the Terran player, obviously, to support that amount of tech that he's doing. A Hellion on the way as well, so probably just looking to get a little bit of extra defense in that front line, just so the Zerglings aren't able to break through that wall. A Baneling bust would be the only thing that would really cause a lot of trouble for the Terran player right now, simply because his wall is very weak. These supply depots with only 400 health are very easily broken down by a Baneling bust. It only takes a handful of them to get by that wall, and then the Terran player's in a lot of trouble once those Zerglings are able to penetrate. We do have a Hellion pushing across the map, just taking a look at Just taking a look at the Zelnaga Watchtower. Going to go ahead and push in the main here. He's going to run into a wall of Zerglings and is actually going to try. He's going to get around them successfully. Very unusual. We do see a spine crawler going down here, and the Hellion looks like is actually going to get picked off here. Not able to do any damage. However, we do have the Banshee now. Cloaking is not quite finished, however, it is almost done. We now have another Banshee, about halfway complete as well. Looks like he's going to come over here and attempt to pick over a couple of drones. Both Queens down here now going to look to do quite a bit of damage to this Banshee. However, Cloaking is now complete. That first Queen absolutely going to get picked off, vomiting her larva there at the last moment before that does happen. The lair now just started for the Zerg player, so unfortunately he's in a lot of trouble. These Banshees are just going to go completely unchecked here. This Banshee had only 33 energy, so once that energy does tick out, she's not going to be able to do any more cloaking. However, there are no anti-air units on the way whatsoever now. We do have a Queen nearly finished. However, she's probably going to get picked off rather quickly by this Banshee. Banshee now at 15 energy, so maybe this Queen will get 1 or 2 shots off. No, it looks like she's going to get picked off way too soon. This other Banshee doing a lot of damage here. We do have 2 Spore Crawlers on the way. Looks like the Terran player not choosing to pick those off. There he goes, now doing damage to those Spore Crawlers. Looks like he's going to be able to pick that one off fairly easily. The second one, however, could prove a little bit of trouble if it is able to get up in time. But it looks like he is going to be able to take that out. We'll go ahead and turn on the health points bar so we can see just what's going on exactly. That Spore Crawler did actually morph in, but was not able to do any damage. We do have another one going down here. Terran player actually electing not to shoot at the Spore Crawler. Not sure why he's letting that finish, and now the Spore Crawler actually going to be able to do quite a bit of damage to those Banshees. We'll see how quickly the health does get removed from those Banshees with those Spore Crawlers. We do have the Banshees pushing over here now. Does spot that second Spore Crawler in the main. The Queen pushing up here could be able to pick one of these off. Actually, 3 Banshees on the field now, all of them at about half health, and this Queen's going to die very quickly. However, this one Banshee could fall. The Spore Crawler doing a lot of damage. That Banshee now in the red as well. We do have another Spore Crawler coming down for this Zerg player now. However, he has lost a lot of drones. Excuse me. That Spore Crawler now also going to fall as well. If we take a look at the Harvester count, we'll notice the Zerg player very far behind, 28 to 34. These Banshees still doing incredible damage. The Zerg player attempting to throw down another Spore Crawler, however, I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. That one Banshee only has 1 bar of life left, only 8 health points, so one more shot from a Spore Crawler or even a Queen, which just happened, and that Banshee will fall. This Banshee also in a lot of trouble here, the Queen doing quite a bit of damage. However, another full health Banshee coming in. I think the Terran player may have overstayed his welcome. It looks like it could be time for him to back away now. Another Queen spawning just now, and that Banshee does fall, and this Banshee unfortunately a little bit too close to those Spore Crawlers, and it is over for her. We do have a small group of Marines and a few Hellions here for the Terran player. However, in terms of army size, if we take a look at that really quickly, we'll see that the Terran player is quite far ahead. Unfortunately, the Zerg player has had to spend most of his money reproducing drones. If we take a look at the drone count, we'll see that the Zerg player was able to macro back up his drone count quite well. So the Terran player, if he were to make a push right now, would be in a good position. However, if he does wait too long, he could be in a lot of trouble in terms of being able to do any sort of sizable damage. We do see several Zerglings getting picked off there by the Hellions. However, the Hellions, unfortunately, are not microing very well and taking quite a lot of damage from that Spine Crawler. We do have another Spine Crawler coming in here. However, the Cloak Banshee looks like he's going to be able to take that off. Unfortunately, the Overseer out of position here, unfortunately not able to spot that Banshee doing so much damage. The Marines and Marauders pushing forward here. Actually, just Marines, no Marauders involved. But the Banshee able to completely own the Spine Crawler. That is terrible for the Zerg player. Not sure what happened to that Overseer. Just completely non-existent now, it seems like. However, all these Marines going to get surrounded. Looks like the Zergling's going to be able to clean this up. However, with this Banshee here still doing so much damage and no anti-air in sight, minus the Spore Crawlers, the Banshee's just going to be able to run amok and do so much damage. We do have another Queen about 3/4 of the way finished. We do have a Roach Warren and a Baneling Nest. However, we do not have any Hydra Den. We do not have any Spires, so these air units from the Terran player are just able to run the roost, just do so much damage to the Zerg player. Zerg going to push forward now with a great deal of Zerglings. Looks like he's going to try and break down this front door. However, the Terran player was able to get another army back together. A couple of Banshees, some Marauders, and a tank. He's going to be able to hold that off very easily. We do see that the orbital command for the Terran player at the natural has gone down. He is mining heavily from it. Does have double gas going up right now. Does have the supply depot to spot the back door and make sure that there's no shenanigans going on back there. And the Zerg player is forced to retreat yet again. So if we take a look here, Zerg player getting very low in minerals in his main. He is getting quite mined out there, and in his natural he is doing fairly well. However, not mining any gas from here, so probably just looking to stick with roaches and zerglings right now, since his tech structure is quite a ways behind the Terran player, since he had to remacro so many drones. In terms of harvesters, we do see a huge discrepancy now. The Terran player was able to macro back up very, very well in between those attacks, so he's done extremely well in terms of doing a lot of damage. We do have 3 Banshees pushing forward, cloaked, going to completely do a lot of damage to this tank. 2 siege tanks here looking to do a lot of splash damage. However, unfortunately, the Zergling's pushing in here, and the Terran player is actually doing quite a lot of damage to himself from those siege tanks. However, the Zerg player is forced to call GG here simply because of these Banshees. Unfortunately, the Terran player just was able to push forward with those Banshees before the Zerg player was able to get any sort of preparation in place, and that did take him the match. So we'll move on to the next group of matches, which will be Cheese Block versus Fuzzy Nickels. If you see that in my list of games, that will be the one to look for. Will be Cheese Block versus Fuzzy Nickels Game 1. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Feel free to subscribe if you like what you see. Thanks for watching, guys.